August 9 was celebrated as the International Day of the World's Indigenous Peoples. Instituted by the United Nations, the day is set aside to recognize the contributions of indigenous people and to protect their rights. Speaking at this year's event with the theme, Indigenous Peoples' Languages, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said, "The United Nations stands ready to support all initiatives aimed at realizing the rights and aspirations of indigenous peoples. There are about 370 million indigenous people in the world, representing 5,000 cultures in 90 countries. They make up less than 5% of the world population but account for 15% of the poorest. Indigenous people are inheritors and practitioners of unique cultures who retain social, cultural, economic and political characteristics. However, it is estimated that every 2 weeks an indigenous language disappears from the world, highlighting the importance of preserving the cultures of the indigenous people." Here in the nation's capital, Abuja, the International Indigenous People Day was marked with celebration by indigenous people of the FCT, particularly 9 groups, namely Bagi, Gwari, Gwandara, Bassa, Gade Koro, Hausa, Igbira, Nupe, and Gana. An indigenous person spoke on how the people have succeeded in preserving their culture.
We have set up the team on how we can teach our children the culture, the way we live on different parts of the FCT and different languages. So I want to assure you, by special grace of God, we will not lose our identity.
Despite the celebration, some of the Abuja indigenous persons lamented the maltreatment meted out against them by the federal government.
I don't see reason why you want to demolish people like Gariki. You want to demolish people places like Gosa, Lugbe, places like Wuse, places like Jiwa, for instance, places like Karishi. You want to demolish these places. There are people living there, and the people you want to bring in are another Nigerian, super Nigerian, who doesn't have a collective identity. These people are coming from different places, and so everybody will come and then they will start speaking English. I know of many communities. If you go to Asokoro, you hardly can tell me you have a family, set of family, 2 or 3 set of families situated in Asokoro that are speaking their indigenous languages. They are purely speaking English. So by the time you do this again to the indigenous people of FCT, you pursue them and you bring some other so-called Nigeria to stay there, these languages that they have will fizzle out. And so the world, the UN, have thought it wise to preserve this language because they are unique assets. When Ben Clinton visited Nigeria, the first thing he did was to ask for a remote village that we have in Nigeria. They took him to Ushafa. You could see how the Oyibos value their culture, how they value their heritage. They value it with all sense of honor. So, but our own, what the federal government is doing instead is pursuing its own people, destroying them, and then want to just push them away to go insane. Because there is a Land Use Act which has given precedence on how to do things. But the Nigerian army is busy telling people to just live by fire, by force, to just pursue people. They will not respect any law, any constitution, any Land Use Act.
It is not anything too big for the indigenous people of Abuja to demand for a ministerial slot. And for that reason, I still want to add my voice that the government should recognize the FCT plight and give FCT a ministerial slot.
Sounding off at the event, former Senator Shehu Sani called on the federal government to address the marginalization of the Abuja indigenous persons.
So my submission is that addressing the problems of the indigenes of Abuja can be done not only for the people of Abuja, but for the whole country, because Nigeria today is a glorified apartheid state. Justice is the glue. Justice is the bridge. We must be fair and just to all Nigerians, because that is the foundation for which everyone can live in peace and in harmony.
Rootstv Nigeria.